Stop everything for a moment, because what I'm about to reveal could change the way your mind works forever. Or you could ignore it and stay trapped in the same endless struggle. Before we go any further, I want you to pause for a second and think, which country are you watching this from? And what time is it there right now? Yes, I'm asking because wherever you are, whatever time it is, this message has reached you exactly when your mind is ready. It's not a coincidence. Now, I need you to be honest with yourself. Have you ever felt like your thoughts control you? Like your emotions are stronger than your will? Like no matter how hard you try, calm and peace feel impossible? What if I told you the very struggle to control your mind is the reason you are suffering? Most people fight their thoughts. They push away feelings. They try to force positivity. They try to discipline themselves into calm. And yet, nothing changes. Because the real secret is not force, not willpower, not motivation. The real secret is something so simple, so natural, so powerful, that when you truly understand it, your mind will begin to heal, transform, and become untouchable, effortlessly. Wherever you are in the world, whatever hour it is in your country, this teaching is meant for you. If you miss this, you will go back to the same patterns, the same tension, the same inner struggle. But if you stay with me until the end, you will see how your mind can change naturally, effortlessly, and permanently. This is not motivation. This is not philosophy. This is life or death for your inner peace. And the lessons I'm about to share could be the most important teachings you ever hear if you let them sink in. The mind is not broken. It is misunderstood. Many people believe there is something wrong with their mind. They think their thoughts are broken, their emotions are weak, or their thinking is damaged. Because of this belief, they spend their whole life trying to fix themselves. But the truth is very simple. The mind is not broken. It has never been broken. It has only been misunderstood. The mind works according to causes and conditions. Thoughts appear because of past experiences. Emotions rise because of habits learned over time. Nothing is happening by mistake. The Buddha did not awaken by forcing good thoughts or removing bad ones. He simply watched the mind carefully. He saw how thoughts begin, how they stay for a while, and how they disappear on their own. When you understand this, something important happens inside you. You stop fighting your thoughts. You stop blaming yourself for feeling the way you do. You stop believing that you are weak or damaged. The moment you stop trying to fix yourself, the inner struggle becomes quiet. When the struggle becomes quiet, the mind starts to relax. When the mind relaxes, clarity appears naturally. You begin to see that thoughts are just thoughts. They come and go like waves. They are not orders you must follow. They are not problems you must solve. The mind does not need pressure. It does not need control. It does not need punishment. It needs understanding. And when understanding is present, healing happens by itself. Resistance is the root of suffering. Most suffering does not come from what happens to us. It comes from how we fight what happens. A difficult thought appears, and the mind says, "I don't want this." An uncomfortable feeling rises, and the mind says, "This should not be here." In that moment, suffering begins. Pain is natural. Every human feels pain at times. But suffering is created when the mind resists pain. When you push a thought away, it does not leave. It returns with more strength. When you argue with an emotion, it grows heavier. Resistance tightens the body. It makes the breath shallow. It makes the mind restless. This is why trying to be calm often creates more tension. This is why forcing positivity often creates exhaustion. The mind suffers not because something is wrong, but because it is fighting what is already present. When you allow a thought to be there without judging it, something changes. The thought begins to lose energy. When you allow a feeling to exist without naming it as bad, it slowly softens. Allowing does not mean liking. Allowing does not mean agreeing. It simply means stopping the inner argument. When the mind stops arguing with reality, peace begins to appear. Not all at once, but gently. Not perfectly, but naturally. What is resisted stays. What is allowed moves on. When resistance ends, suffering begins to dissolve on its own. You are awareness, not the mind. Most people believe they are their thoughts. When a thought appears, they say, "This is me." When an emotion rises, they believe it defines who they are. But if you look closely, something very simple becomes clear. Thoughts come and go. Feelings rise and fall. Yet something remains quietly present, watching all of it. That quiet presence is awareness. You can notice a thought only because you are not the thought. You can feel an emotion only because you are aware of it. What is seen cannot be the one who sees. Thoughts change many times in a single day. Your mood shifts. Your opinions move. But the knowing presence that notices these changes does not move. When you forget this, suffering grows. You become trapped inside every thought. You feel controlled by every emotion. When you remember this, space appears. A thought may arise, but it no longer owns you. An emotion may pass through, but it no longer defines you. Awareness does not judge. It does not fight. It does not try to improve anything. It simply knows what is happening. The moment you rest in this knowing, the mind begins to loosen. Thoughts slow down. Emotions soften. You realize you were never trapped by the mind. You were only identified with it. When identification ends, freedom begins quietly, naturally, and without effort. Non-reaction is true power. The mind becomes powerful not by reacting, but by remaining still. Most thoughts survive because we answer them. A thought appears, and we argue with it. Another thought appears, and we defend ourselves. Each reaction gives the mind more energy. When you react with fear, fear grows. When you react with anger, anger becomes stronger. When you react with worry, worry learns to stay. Reaction feels natural, but it is not necessary. It is a habit learned over time. When you stop reacting, something unexpected happens. The thought does not know where to go. Without your response, it slowly fades. This does not mean you suppress thoughts or emotions. You simply allow them to be present without feeding them. Silence is not weakness. Stillness is not escape. Non-reaction is deep strength. When the mind is not pushed and not pulled, it settles by itself. Like muddy water left undisturbed, it becomes clear. You do not need to win against the mind. You only need to stop fighting it. When reaction ends, clarity appears. And in that clarity, true power is found. Awareness rewires the mind naturally. The mind changes not because you force it, but because you simply watch it. Most people believe that changing the mind requires effort. They try to push away negative thoughts, force themselves to feel positive, or control every feeling that arises. This effort creates tension. It makes the mind tighter, not freer. But when you bring awareness to the mind, everything begins to shift on its own. Awareness is simple attention without judgment. It notices a thought, a feeling, a tension in the body, and it does not fight it. It does not try to fix it or push it away. When you watch a thought without labeling it as good or bad, its grip begins to loosen, When you feel an emotion without needing to act on it, its intensity slowly fades. When awareness rests on the mind, the nervous system relaxes naturally, and the brain begins to rewire itself. This is why Buddhist practice does not rely on force or willpower. Change happens because the mind is no longer feeding itself with resistance. Every moment you watch clearly, you are creating new patterns. Every time you notice without reacting, you are weakening old habits. Transformation does not need struggle. It does not need striving. It happens quietly, like the sun rising and gradually lighting the world. The mind heals itself when attention is present. Nothing needs to be pushed away. Nothing needs to be controlled. Just awareness, simply and clearly, is enough. Over time, you will notice thoughts coming and going with less force. Emotions will pass through without leaving residue. Old habits will lose their hold, and you will begin to feel a freedom that no effort can create. This is the natural power of awareness. It is gentle, it is quiet, it is unstoppable. Letting go ends inner conflict. Clinging to thoughts, emotions, and experiences creates tension inside. We hold on tightly to what we like and push away what we dislike. We try to control life, control others, and even control our own mind. This constant holding and pushing becomes inner violence against ourselves. Letting go is not giving up. It is not weakness. It is not turning away from reality. It is simply releasing the grip we have on what cannot be held. When you let go, the mind begins to settle. The body relaxes. The breath becomes calm. The thoughts that once felt urgent slowly lose their intensity. You no longer feel trapped by what arises. Letting go does not mean ignoring your problems. It does not mean avoiding life. It means seeing things as they are and allowing them to exist without struggle. It means stopping the fight inside yourself. The moment you stop holding, you create space. In that space, clarity appears. In that space, peace arises naturally. You do not need to force it. You do not need to push anything away. Life continues to flow. Challenges come and go. Emotions rise and fall. But inside, the mind remains calm. Letting go is the key that opens the door to this inner stillness. Every time you release your grip, even just a little, the mind grows lighter. Every time you stop resisting, tension dissolves. And gradually, without effort, a quiet freedom emerges. A freedom that cannot be taken. A freedom that does not depend on circumstances. This is the natural state of the mind when it is not held hostage by clinging. It is simple, gentle, and infinitely powerful. When you let go, the inner battle ends. And in that ending, the mind finds its true home, calm, clear, and free. Emotions lose power when allowed. Emotions are natural movements of energy in the mind and body. They rise, they flow, and they eventually pass. Happiness, sadness, anger, fear, these are all waves that move through you. They are not you. They are not permanent. They are simply passing experiences. Most people try to control their emotions. They try to push away the ones they do not like. They try to hold on to the ones they enjoy. This holding and pushing is what gives emotions their power. When you resist an emotion, it grows stronger. When you cling to an emotion, it lingers far longer than it needs to. But there is another way. When you allow an emotion to exist, fully and without judgment, it begins to lose its hold over you. You do not have to like it. You do not have to act on it. You simply observe it, acknowledge it, and let it flow. When fear rises, say to yourself, I feel fear. When sadness comes, notice, I feel sadness. Do not add a story. Do not label it as good or bad. Do not resist it. Just allow it to be as it is. The moment you stop fighting an emotion, it starts to complete itself. Its intensity fades naturally. Its energy disperses. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. What once felt heavy becomes light. This does not happen instantly, but over time, it becomes a natural pattern. The mind learns that it does not need to react to every surge of feeling. The body learns that it can relax even while emotions are present. And gradually, a deep calm emerges, not forced, not artificial, but natural and enduring. When emotions are allowed to flow, you discover a simple truth. Nothing can harm you without your participation. Nothing can control you if you do not resist it. Everything passes, and you remain. By allowing emotions rather than fighting them, the mind grows stronger and freer. What once controlled you now simply passes through. What once felt urgent now flows harmlessly. This is the quiet power of acceptance. This is the way the mind naturally heals itself. This is freedom without struggle. Freedom is the natural state. Freedom is not something you need to chase. It is not a prize to earn, a goal to reach, or a reward for good behavior. It is already present. It has always been present. It is the natural state of the mind when struggle ends. Most people live in tension because they fight themselves. They try to control thoughts, push away feelings, hold on to desires, or resist reality. This constant fighting makes the mind tight, restless, and heavy. It creates suffering even when nothing else in life is wrong. But the moment you stop fighting, the mind begins to settle. The thoughts that seemed overwhelming start to pass on their own. The emotions that felt intense slowly soften. Even challenges and difficulties that once caused inner chaos no longer disturb the quiet space within. Freedom is simply the mind resting in its natural clarity. It does not come from changing circumstances. It does not come from gaining power, money, or recognition. It does not come from trying to control life. It comes from letting go of struggle and seeing life as it is. When you allow thoughts to arise without clinging to them, they lose their grip. When you allow emotions to flow without pushing them away, they lose their strength. When you stop defending yourself against reality, the mind becomes untouchable. This is true peace. This is calm without effort. This is joy without reason. This is the natural state of the mind, quiet, clear, and free. You have never been broken. You have never been weak. You have only been resisting your own nature. When resistance ends, freedom appears naturally. It is not something to achieve. It is the space that was always there behind the struggle, waiting for you to notice. Life continues, with its ups and downs, its challenges and surprises. Yet inside, there is a part of you that is untouched, steady, and calm. This part does not need to fight, control, or change anything. It simply is, always. Freedom is not far away. It is not earned. It is not given. It is your natural state, waiting for the mind to stop resisting and simply be present. When you rest in this understanding, every moment becomes lighter, every thought becomes less urgent, and every emotion flows without trapping you. You discover that the quiet, free space of the mind is always available, even in the middle of life's storms. And in that space, you are truly free. Before we end, take a deep moment and really feel this. You were never broken. Your mind was never your enemy. All this time, the struggle was optional. All this time, freedom was already inside you, waiting for your awareness to rest in it. What if every thought you've tried to control, every emotion you've tried to push away, was actually teaching you the way to true freedom? The mind becomes untouchable when resistance ends. Peace does not need to be chased. It is what remains when struggle stops. So today, ask yourself, which thoughts will you no longer fight? Which emotions will you finally allow to flow? Which parts of life will you simply let be? Without holding, without pushing, without struggling. Wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is in your country, know this: freedom is not somewhere in the future. It is already present inside you, right now, waiting quietly for you to notice it. Carry this truth with you. Rest in awareness. And remember, your mind does not need fixing. It needs understanding. If this teaching reached you deeply, take a moment to reflect. Share it with someone silently struggling. And as you go through life, let the quiet power of awareness guide you. You have seen the path. You have felt the possibility. And now, the rest is yours to live naturally, freely, and fully. Be aware, be gentle, be free.